Hey, party people! Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host, as always, Jeff Stormer. This week, I am joined by friend of the show, Lani, for a game of Pathfinder. Pathfinder is a game that needs very little introduction. It is one of the biggest and most beloved fantasy role-playing games on the market, and it is a game that I've wanted to try on the show for a very long time, so I'm really excited that we got the opportunity to play it. I think the episode turned out really fun, and I think you're really going to dig it. Before we dive in, though, I do want to give a special thank you to Jimmy Rogers, our newest backer on Patreon. Jimmy, thank you so much for your support. It means a tremendous amount. Patreon dollars, as you know, pay for equipment costs, hosting fees, convention appearances, and other expenses, and Patreon backers get access to cool bonus audio. You can find information on all of that at patreon.com/partyofonepodcast. I'd also like to take a brief moment and talk about this week's sponsor, Divided Pursuit. Divided Pursuit is a really cool-looking, really innovative-looking video game, role-playing game hybrid app for Android and iPhone. Players alternately take on the role of questing heroes trying to save the world and saboteurs trying to undermine those efforts. You need to figure out who's on your team and who's working against you, all while trying to conquer your objectives and emerge victorious at the end of the quest. It also has options for campaign play, special unlockable abilities, and more. The game is currently on Kickstarter, and a $10 pledge gets you 4 copies of the app, enough to run a local campaign in your living room. You can find more information in the show notes, or head over to kck.st/dividedpursuit. And with all that out of the way, let's throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me.
I'm recording in Zencaster, just checking all the levels, making sure everything looks good. Everything looks just fine. Thanks, future me. This week I'm joined by Lani. Lani, thanks for coming on Party of One.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, this week, we are playing Pathfinder. I'm really excited about it. I am excited to see how it plays with a single player, because I find that, the party-type games tend to be a little bit swingier, so I'm excited to see if Pathfinder is any different.
Yeah, I have run a few one-on-one games, and it tends to just be a lot of fudging the rules a little bit here and there, just because it is built for a group, but
sure.
Yeah, it's really fun.
And that's a lot of games, I think, deep down. I think really the key to playing with a single person is knowing when to kind of throw the rules out the window a little bit.
Definitely.
So I'm really excited, so why don't you introduce us to your character this week?
Okay, yeah, so I rolled some Rory story cubes and came up with this idea for this level 6 cleric, and this is her little story. She was kidnapped as a young woman by the god Sabek and his cultists. After they had kept her for a while and other captives, she managed to outwit the god in a game of Senet, which is like Egyptian chess, and she shamed him, and then she managed to kill him. But before he died, he cursed her with crocodile lycanthropy. So she's a were-crocodile, because he's like a crocodile god, Egyptian crocodile god. So she, filled with all this rage and everything from being transformed, she manages to free all the other captives, kill the cultists, eat a few of them, and then after she's sure everybody's safe, she just secludes herself off into this cave where she just wants to be as far away from people because she doesn't want to hurt anybody. And she dedicates herself to her god, and her god blesses her with holy magic for her bravery, and she just spends her time trying to control herself and learn about her domain.
So, that rules, and I love that each a few of them was just thrown in there. I thought that was great.
Got it.
So, you're sounding great, by the way. So our story begins. We open on a long shot of the seemingly endless jungles surrounding an unmarked, hidden tributary of the Kopeshi River. Big, long, endless jungle shot. You have been stalking this river for some time. You received word that as you try to understand your magic and your the condition that you've been cursed with, you caught word that there was some congregation of these were-crocodiles somewhere along this river. And, you know, if there's any opportunity to kind of, like, figure out what you're capable of, or even if there's a way to reverse it, it's gotta be somewhere with these WEREODILES.
Okay. Alright. So, am I, like, outside of my, kind of like my territory or where I live, or am I just kind of walking towards this area that I've been given directions to?
I think you've been following the trail for a few days.
Okay.
And I think the first challenge and the first roll that I'm going to ask you to make is, the clues have run cold. You've been following this river. It's not on any of the maps. It's not on any of the directions, but it seems consistent with, like, the hints that you've been given as to where you can find this hive of were-crocodiles. Okay. You know, people have been reporting livestock have gone missing, people have gone missing. Make me a roll of perhaps survival or maybe even knowledge arcana if you have that.
Yes, I have knowledge arcana. Okay.
Give me a roll for that. We'll say the difficulty for this is going to be a 12.
Alright.
Shouldn't be too difficult.
So I have +8, and I got a 7, so that's like 15?
15, yeah, okay. So yeah, you've been studying these cults for a while. You essentially grew up around them.
Yeah.
The movements that this cult has been making in the area don't seem consistent with that. They're more slapdash, I would call it. They are a bit more chaotic. You know, they're sort of just the attacks that you've been, like, kind of studying as you stalk are almost smash and grab, which is, you know, Sabek? Sabek.
Yeah, Sabek, yeah.
Sabek's followers are sort of more cunning than that. They're tricksters. Yeah. They lure people in. They're not necessarily just like smashing and grabbing a cow and running off with it.
Yeah, and Sabek's cultists they're like crocodiles where they stalk and they calculate. And if they're just grabbing what they can as they try to go by, you know, civilization, then something's definitely off.
Yeah.
So
make me that survival roll. Make me a survival roll. Or, survival's tracking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, make me a survival roll. This one's going to be a little bit easier. I'll say another 12.
Okay.
As you try to refine this trail.
Okay, so I have +4, so I got a 21.
Perfect. You find the trail effortly.
So I find, like, tracks.
Yeah, you find footprints, you find, like, the evidence of, like, animals being dragged, because, like, you know, there's big swaths of ground that's been kind of tore up a little bit.
So they're definitely not using their stealth.
And that's weird, right? Like, it's not what you would expect.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Okay, so since they're obviously not covering their tracks, and if they were true believers of Sabek, then they would definitely be more calculating than that. I'm not going to necessarily make a huge effort to conceal myself. So, what time of day is it?
The sun is high in the sky. It is, like, high noon.
I'm going to continue forward and see if I can find any more tracks or if I can notice anything else as I follow these tracks down the path.
Yeah, okay, make me another survival roll. This one's going to be a little more difficult. I'm going to put it at a 15.
Okay, so I got just got a 15.
Perfect. You follow the water. You follow the tracks. You come upon, as you're moving, you see that this river starts to stagnate a little bit. it starts to get silty. Everything, you start to see the water on both sides start to become, like, it starts to flood on both sides, almost like something is damming up the river upstream. You move a little further, and you come upon, like, a marshy clearing, because everything is kind of marshy here, because, like I said, it's flooding a little bit. And you look, and you see a were-crocodile is feasting on a cattle, just sort of out in the open, and just sort of like tearing into it, you know, indulging its worst impulses, basically, and just kind of going crazy. With a sort of reckless abandon, again, not like a follower of Sebek. Something is up here.
Okay. So, as I see this, in this wet area, and they're just unabashedly just tearing into this beast, I'm gonna cast Detect Evil. Can I?
Yes. What do you describe to me what the experience of feeling evil for your character is like?
So my character is lawful good. So she's very much on the straight and narrow.
Right.
And any evil to her is any kind of not the intent to eat,
sure,
or to, you know, to sustain yourself necessarily. Nothing animalistic would set
sure,
her off, but definitely with a desire a pleasure over evil.
Sure.
The pleasure of killing, or the pleasure of seeing, like that, you know, like a sadistic kind of feeling. She would feel that, and it would just make her teeth grit. And
sure,
she would just say a little prayer as she feels it, and she would totally be prepared to fight if she felt that.
Well, you feel that. Your teeth, like, grind up a little bit, and your muscles, like, tense, and, like, you feel this, like, tinny, almost nails on a chalkboard screech a little bit in, like, the back of your ears.
Oh, man. Okay.
And you're watching this were-crocodile. But you feel like all of that, but you also... It just feels... It doesn't feel directed. It doesn't feel calculating. It almost feels sad or scared. And the other thing I should describe is, like, past the WEREODILE, a little ways down a slight sloping hill, is a huge stony cave where the river seems to, like, flood into and flood around. But the stone doesn't seem to match the rest of the area.
Interesting. Okay. I'm very hesitant to just immediately go in and start fighting with somebody.
Sure.
If I feel like they're in any kind of duress, or they're having any kind of emotional issue, I'd rather talk to them.
Sure.
But knowing myself how I am when I'm in my hybrid form, there's really no talking to me. So I don't expect this creature to be receptive to diplomacy. And I know for myself that I'm not very good at it anyway.
Right.
So
it's good to know our limits.
Yeah. And so maybe, though Shifra hates changing, with the circumstances present and with them being so close to normal humans, I think she's going to make an attempt to change shape.
Alright, yeah, give me that. That's a control shape roll, right?
Yeah, I think I have to, it takes a full round action, and I think it's DC 15.
Got it.
For it to be successful. Yeah.
Alright, yeah, give me that roll.
Alright, let's see. Has it noticed me yet?
Make the roll and we'll find out.
Okay. Okay, I got an 11 with Constitution. I think I got it. Let me see. I have a +1 to Con, so that's 12. Nope.
Okay, so what happens is you do transform.
Okay.
But the thing about transforming is it's not a pleasant process. It can't...
No.
And I think control shape is less about, like, doing it successfully and more about doing it in a way that isn't unbearable. You know, I'm kind of picturing,
Yes.
like American Werewolf in Paris, where it's a whole lot of, like, screeching and gritting teeth as, like, muscles bend out of shape.
Yeah.
So this happens, and that's what gets the Werecrocodile's attention.
Me screaming on the ground.
Yeah, like you and like bones cracking as you go from being bipedal to semi-quadrupedal. Like it's a whole lot of like cracking and stretching of flesh, and it's real visceral, and that's what gets its attention. And it is taken aback. At first, it doesn't move, and it sort of like takes a step back and kind of like hunches down and watches you, and then it lunges. Like it doesn't necessarily, it sort of weighs its options for a second and then lunges at you. And then I'm gonna ask for initiative.
All right, here we go. Alright,
didn't roll great.
I got a 19.
You're definitely going first because I rolled a 7.
Okay.
And my initiative, yeah, you're going first.
Okay.
So it lunges at you. I'm going to give it one attack for you as you're changing.
Okay.
But it's just going to be a... Does a 19 hit you?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, that hits.
Take, that is 8 damage.
8 damage.
As it, tackles you, and as it tackles you and tries to bite you, but you push it off, but, like, you have to kind of, like, roll back onto your feet, and you're kind of dazed and weary, and it's knocked a little of the life out of you.
I don't know how much of I think I have the full capability of my magic when I'm in this form.
I'll give it to you either way. I'm not gonna knock you for that.
Okay, so I'm going to cast Hold Person.
Okay.
Is this they're in like a hybrid form, or are they full on quadrupedal?
Hybrid form, yeah. So it'll work on them.
Okay, yeah. So I cast Hold Person, and they have to do a will saving throw.
That's not great. They got a 13.
Okay. I think I got him, though.
I'm pretty sure you got him.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it lasts for 6 rounds. And, yeah, it lasts for 6 rounds.
Okay. So, so they try to spin on their heels and dive at you again, and then as soon as they spin on their heels, they kind of just, slump forward as they, kind of like if you've ever seen a kid in one of those harnesses where they, run against it and they're like, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
okay.
yeah, it's that. And this is the first really good up-close look you've got at this thing.
Okay.
This ain't a Werodile that you recognize. There's something... You've seen a few of these in your travels, fighting these cultists, studying your own transformations. There's something wrong with this thing. It is, bloated and hairy. There's big patches of hair and fur on it, and,
Gross.
pustules, boils kind of popping and bubbling on them. It's real gross looking. There's something... It doesn't look like a transformed Werecrocodile in the way that you do.
There's no, sleekness or finished...
It's gross looking.
Okay, so 6 rounds is not that much time, but I'm gonna quickly I'm going to cast... Okay, I'm gonna use the standard action, and I'm going to cast Zone of Truth.
Okay.
And, I'm going to ask it, what are you?
It it leans forward, and with a mouth that's not really designed for words, it tries to be quiet, but, like, its mouth kind of snaps open eventually, and it just says, "A professional." And it kind of spits a little bit.
I laugh. Oh, that wasn't what I was asking. Okay, let me be more clear. You look sick. Are you sick? Other than the fact that you are what you are.
If by what you are, you mean some sort of croc man? Then otherwise no. But if that counts as sick, then yeah, I've had better days. Sassy croc man.
I don't know if it would last much longer.
I'm going to say you get one more question or statement or command or whatever you want to do.
And gritting my teeth, do you worship that false god Sabek?
And as you feel the truth kind of fading as he kind of leans forward, and in that last moment just says, "Who?"
So I know the whole person is not going to last anymore, and Zone of Truth lasts 6 minutes.
Right. Oh, then yeah, the hold person fades away as he leans forward and he's like, "Who? I don't know who that is. Is that a friend? Is that a friend of yours?"
No.
Fair. Okay. Then no. And the hold person fades, and like you see him shake out, right? He kind of shakes it, and he leans forward, and you see him rearing up to strike, and he doesn't. He's just kind of hanging there for a second. He's not necessarily attacking yet.
I ready myself. Teeth bared, claws ready. Take me to the others. I know there are more.
Oh. Make me a, I'm gonna call this Intimidate.
Okay.
Unless you think that there's a role that's better suited for this.
Probably a different role would be better for me, but
if you want to change, if you want to change up your approach, he's not attacking you, so you have the opportunity to kind of like get what you want in a way that if there's an approach that's better for you, you can hit that.
Can I do a sense motive on him?
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna make it real easy and say it's a 12 because he's in a zone of truth, so like his motives are pretty wide open.
Okay, so I got a 26, so
Okay, yeah. He's rearing to attack because you're rearing to attack, and he's not quite sure what to do here. You can tell he's kind of been running on instinct for a while, like, this being a foreign thing to him, he doesn't really understand, like, what's going on with him. The crocodile thing is clearly new, and he's sort of just doing crocodile stuff.
So I lower my guard, and I take a step back, and I look him in the eye, and I say, "Can I help you? I don't want to fight. I really don't want to fight."
And he, make me a diplomacy roll for that. It's gonna be a 14. He's still a crocodile man.
Okay.
But his shoulders are kind of slumping, or kind of like softening as well, or lowering as well.
Okay, I got a 16.
Perfect. He kind of shakily extends a hand and he says, "Yeah, Chaz, pleasure to meet you."
Kaz. Okay. Kaz. My name is Shifra. I am a cleric of the one true God. Can I help you? And I want to, as a show of goodwill, I want to revert back to my human form.
Yeah, you revert back to your human form. He is taken aback, and he kind of looks at you for a while, and he says, you can do that?
Yes. Yes.
Well then.
I've been studying for many years now to control it.
Then,
you can't?
no, we kind of just, I don't know, woke up like this.
You woke up?
Just,
Oh.
we were
How sad.
We were running a job, and, we stashed out in the cave, and, we woke up like this. Croc people. It ain't great.
No, I can imagine how afflicted you must feel. Can you bring me to your people?
Yeah, I could probably do that. And he kind of like he starts walking towards the cave, and you get to the entrance of the cave, and like I said, the stone is sort of grayish blue, this sort of pale gray blue. It seems to be reflecting the color of the river, but you look at the stone around it. You look at like the riverbed and the rocks around the trees, and they're all this kind of like brownish color. Doesn't match. Something's not right. The water seems to be flowing into it, but around it in a way that doesn't match. Something's not right.
Can I detect magic?
Yes, you can. There's magic. You feel magic. You felt magic. Like you know what to expect when you cast detect magic. And you feel that. But it is also different. It's foreign, it's weird, it's messed up is the best way to describe it. Like something ain't right.
What? I turn to Kaz and I ask him, where did your home come from? This doesn't seem natural according to the land here. Do you know anything?
Nah, we kinda just came upon it. We were, coming up from, Shanksford. And, Shanksford is the last town that you happen to be in. Little tiny mining community, nothing particularly noteworthy. And he's like, yeah, we were running a job up in Shanksford, the fuzz was chasing us. We kinda just holed up here for the night.
For the night. So, this is very recent that you've been this way.
Hold on, I gotta... Cause it was, is it Thursday? No, that ain't... I can't tell you exactly how long it's been. Days kinda blur together.
Are you... As you and your people... Did you slaughter that cattle farm? Was that you? Because I had to do some cleanup after that, and it was awful. Was that you and your people?
It wasn't supposed to go like that. Look, it was just supposed to be, a break-in, we steal the milk money, and we're off. We had done that job 100 times. We figured, yeah, we're croc people. Shouldn't be any different. But apparently, you get in there, you see a cow, and have you ever looked at a cow? Really, truly? They're delicious looking.
Yes. I understand if this is recent. Yes, cows, I understand. Maybe I can help you.
As you're talking, you hear, you see the river, you see Chaz start to move down river, and the river slopes downward into the more, like, darker caves as it's going away from the light. However, you also see a glowing white light from above along a craggy cliff wall. So you have the choice. You can follow Chaz. You hear clamoring from where Chaz is marching, and he kind of tenses up a little bit, and he kind of looks back at you and tenses, and he's real tense, because there's, like, the sound of a commotion happening downriver. But there's that bright light up above. Do you go with Chaz, or do you investigate the light?
Okay, so there's a bright light, and then there's something coming up the river.
There's something coming from down further in the cave. There's, like, a commotion, and Chaz seems real concerned about it. Like, it's not, like, something is happening that shouldn't be. And Chaz seems worried, more so than, like, anything.
Okay. And then where is the light coming from the opposite direction?
Yeah, the commotion is like essentially a floor below. Mm-hmm. And the light, there's like a little tiny alcove and like sort of a glowing cave that is a floor above. It would require climbing along a rock wall, but there's something is up there glowing.
Okay.
So do you go with Chaz or do you go for the light? Chaz is looking real worried.
Okay. I sort of put myself in a defensive pose, and I look at him really intensely. What is it? What is it?
I don't know. It doesn't sound... And, like, he kind of, like, leans down, and he kind of gestures you over, and you start hearing, like, clanging, like the clanging of, like, things banging against, like, rock walls. And there's this, gurgling noise that's real weird. You can make me a knowledge, nature to try and identify that.
I do not have knowledge nature.
Make me a wisdom roll.
I know. Okay.
This will be difficult, though. It's going to be a 17.
Is it a different language?
No, it's...
Or is it just like a mouth noise?
Just a weird noise.
Okay. Okay. I have an 18 and I have extremely high wisdom.
Okay, yeah. It is, it sounds kind of like somebody, it is the unmistakable cry of a creature known as a myconid, which is a sentient mushroom creature. They're not native to this region, and they tend to grow in these sort of underground environments. It sounds like this one is particularly large, and you hear some screams and yells as what sounds like two people are trying to fight this very large mushroom creature.
Okay. So, do I know what that is, or do I need to make a check?
No, that was what the role was, to figure out what it was and like what you know about it. It is literally a psychic living mushroom.
Yes.
It's weird as heck.
Yeah, I do. I know what that is. Okay. So, knowing what that is, I take the few seconds to go back into my hybrid form, and do you want me to make a roll for that?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. So I grab him by the arm, and I try to climb up towards that light.
Okay. Make me a climb check.
Okay.
This is going to be, I'm going to call this a 15. I'm going to make a roll for him as well.
Okay.
Yep, he follows along with you. So, like, if you make it, you're both up there.
Okay, well, I got an 8.
Okay. Well, in that case, what I'll say is, fun. Actually, I know exactly what happens. You both make it up. You both make it up the wall. But okay. You make it up the wall, and for a brief second, you see what was glowing. This wall, this, like, cavern, this little tiny alcove, is lined with, like, beautiful prismatic crystal.
Okay.
It's like if you've ever seen, like the inside of like a geode crystal. They're just these beautiful prisms that are just glowing, and the whole thing is like rainbow light is filling the room.
Okay, cool.
Chaz has never been up here, and it's just his eyes are wide, and you see tears start to form. And he's starting to cry these crocodile tears, and you you're climbing, and you grab hold of a crystal, and it shatters in your hand.
Oh.
Just as you make it up.
Okay.
And that rainbow light turns into gas and starts swirling about.
No.
Swirling and swirling about. And it's this cloud of, like, otherworldly ectoplasm is swirling around you.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Alright. So, I got a myconid coming from one direction, and I have this miasma around me. Okay.
It's been a difficult day.
Am I still attached? Am I still on the wall?
You've made it up onto the alcove at this point.
Okay. I look down at Chaz, and I yell, "We're gonna have to take our chances," and I jump down from the wall, from the alcove, and I try to run towards the exit.
Okay.
Back the way that we came.
Alright, yeah, you've the two of you are booking it, and, from downriver, like, the miasma is coming down as the myconid is holding a were-crocodile by the throat and kind of slamming them against cave walls, is running at you from up the upside of the cave. Chaz jumps onto the myconid's back and is like, I gotta help my friends, and you gotta help my friends if you wanna see the king, if you wanna see the boss.
I kind of look out at the open river, the open jungle, and I look back into this fight. Do I really want to know?
It's your. I mean, you could book it. Like, you've got a clean break, but you don't get to know.
Yeah, I gotta stay and help. And so while I'm standing there, I want to cast. I want to cast Searing Light.
Okay.
At the myconid.
I'm not even going to ask for a roll or anything, because there are now 4 were-crocodiles staring down this myconid. I think that you make pretty quick work of it. Okay. So I think it's much... I think you light it up.
Okay, yeah. It's a ray of sunlight, and it deals 3d8 points of damage.
In fact, I might... Yeah, let me pull up its stats real quick, but I don't even think... I think... Even putting aside the 4 were-crocodiles, I don't think it has. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry too much about this myconid. I don't think it's gonna make it. Yeah, so the 4 of you, you blast it, and it catches fire, because it's like a mushroom.
Yes.
It starts burning, and Chaz is ripping into the back of its neck, and the other 2 kind of grab its arms and pull, and it rips its arms out, and it kind of just like falls onto its face. A burning mushroomy, and it stinks. It smells like burning mushrooms, which is an unpleasant odor.
No.
And the 2 wounded WEREODILES are like leaning against a wall, and Chaz is like, "Good thinking, kid. Good hustle."
Okay. I just blow the fire out of my hands, and I say, "Okay, now you need to give me something."
All right, yeah. No, you did us a solid. Chaz Knuckle Duster is a straight shooter. We're gonna go take you to the boss. Tiny Pickles.
Thank you.
Let's go. And they all hop to their feet, and they take you. They take you you walk through these things. They're guiding you, and like you're seeing these like pulsating mushrooms, and you're pretty sure that's where the myconid formed. and you're seeing more of these crystals, and you're real careful not to touch it, because you're pretty sure that miasma's still out there somewhere, and you're not sure where. And you're going, and it just goes deeper and deeper, and that river just follows it down and down until you get to, like, this huge pool.
Okay.
And they walk you to the edge of this pool, and you can't see the bottom. It's just black and murky. And you look over the edge, and Chaz looks over the edge, and Pickles and Tiny look over the edge. And the water starts to bubble and gurgle. And a light from under the water starts to glow. Just a pulsating light. And
I kind of roll my eyes. Drama.
Yeah. Chaz sees it, and he's like, the boss likes to make an entrance. Wait. And it starts to flash red. And he kind of like, pats you on the shoulder. And he says, listen, kid. There's nothing personal.
Kid.
But, red means angry. And I ain't gonna be here for angry. We brought you to the boss. You're kinda on your own. Pickles, Teeny, let's roll. And they all walk off snapping their fingers.
I just stare off at them and see how long it takes for them to stop snapping their fingers.
Oh, they do not stop snapping. You hear it. You hear echoes of the snapping for what feels like ever. But, like, your attention is brought back to this pool, and it's gurgling. And suddenly, the water breaks. And up comes, the boss WEREODILE. He looks a lot worse than the other three that you've seen. They all looked weird in the way that Chaz looked weird. They all had these pustules and these tufts of weird hair. This one looks way, way bad. It looks misshapen. Less like a crocodile now. You can tell it kind of looked like a crocodile once. Have you ever seen a picture of a really old crocodile? How they look?
Yeah.
They get like they get all jagged and they get these bone shards, and they start looking just more and more like old ass dinosaurs. This guy comes up.
Scars.
Yeah, and he's covered in scars, and he's got these big, scaly spikes all over, and he's hunched forward, and his neck is real long, like a dragon almost. And he leans, and he kind of sits on the edge of the pool opposite side of you as he kind of like plops his big, oversized legs. And he leans forward, and he says, "You ain't supposed to be here."
I'm curious where you think I'm supposed to be.
And he kind of gets up, and he cracks his knuckles. And he does the neck crack thing, and it looks very weird, because he's got a long neck. And he's like, "Look, my crew, we've been running jobs here for a long time. I'll tell you one thing. Narcs ain't welcome." And you see...
Narcs?
You see that flashing red thing? You actually recognize it. I was going to make you roll for it, but you actually recognize it very well, because you happened to break one earlier. There's a crystal embedded in his neck.
Oh, no.
And as it pulsates, he kind of like... You see the bone shards start to like grow a little bit, and pustules start to bubble, and
Oh.
Well, that kind of explains a little bit, doesn't it?
Is there any way I can make I was thinking either like a heal check or knowledge arcana?
Make a knowledge arcana.
Just to see.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, make a knowledge arcana.
I got a 16, and I'm trying to figure out why he looks, if there's any indicators of what caused him to look that way, or if it's that crystal that caused it.
It's definitely the crystal, and you're looking at it, And you remember cracking that crystal and the miasma and, like, the weirdness of it all. And you remember, and, like, slowly pieces of everything are starting to swirl into place a little bit. You remember that crystal, that feeling of irregularity in the air and in the magic, and the stone that doesn't match the ground, and the river that's been disrupted. It all just feels very, very alien.
Can I do knowledge planes?
Yes.
I have a +6 in knowledge planes. Let's see. Okay, I got a 10.
That's good enough to tell you that this is not from this Earth. Everything is kind of feeling, you're realizing that nothing feels of this realm, or of this plane, of this planet, this Earth. Something came here and crashed here from another plane. You don't know from where, you have no idea, like, what kind of plane this is from, but something crashed here from another plane. These hapless bandits came here.
Mm-hmm.
One of them slept weird on a crystal. Best you can surmise.
Okay.
And what they woke up as were-crocodiles. Now, make me another knowledge arcana to try and understand. Okay. Or heal, whichever is better.
Yeah, let me do a heal check.
Yeah.
I have a +11. Let's see. Okay. 21.
Fabulous. The creatures, the other guys, you noticed how you were watching them, and you were watching, like, the pustules form on them, and, like, the hair sprout, and you were kind of getting a sense of, like, how long, like, they're, like, what was up with them. They're the worsening of the symptoms, essentially. For this guy to look like this, he had to have been like this for
a long time.
They never said how long. Chaz couldn't remember how long they had been were-crocodiles. And those break-ins were all caused by the were-crocodiles. You never got word of when the bandits came over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's seeming like he might be older than they let on.
Okay, I look at him, and I know he looks very strong. And
He big.
He big. And I don't want to start something that I can't finish. And I want to help more than I want to kill, even in my hybrid form. So can I do a sleight of hand to cast Zone of Truth?
Yeah, make me a sleight of hand. I'm gonna make an opposed spot. He got a 13.
Okay, I got a 22.
Okay, yeah, Zone of Truth is cast.
Okay, so I've got 6 minutes, and I hold my hands up.
He's walking around the pool to get to you. And you can tell if he gets to you, there's gonna be a throwdown.
Yeah, so I'm backing away, and I'm holding my hands up, and I say, hold on, I want to help you. I want to help you. I understand some of what you're going through. I was afflicted with this curse, and I want to help you. You're obviously not from here, and I don't know how long you've been here, but if you want to get back home, maybe I can help you before you tear me to pieces. So, where did you come from?
Are you referring to me or to him? The crystal light swirls from the crystal, as his head slumps forward a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
This is fun.
Okay. Angry crocodile. Crystal. I have to stop one, talk to the other. Okay. Is there anything I can do to help you? Do you know of anything? Can you give me anything that would help me help you in this situation?
I don't believe there is help to be had. I believe the comet that brought us here has deemed this our new home. The crocodile moves closer to you. But I believe there is help to be had I don't think you can help me, but you can certainly help him. Mutations are to be expected by prolonged contact to the crystal vessel. Extraction should reverse. It's an untested hypothesis, but he's just about at you.
Okay. Alright. So... Okay. So Okay, so he's right in front of me, and I'm trying to stand my ground.
Yep.
And I look at the boss now, and I say, "Is there anything that I can heal you? I can help you with your affliction. I know how to handle this curse. Is there anything that I can do that would dissuade you from eating me?"
You know what? I was gonna ask for initiative, but make me a diplomacy roll. It's gonna be
so bad at it.
It's gonna be tough. Actually, it probably won't be. I'm gonna say it's a 15 because he wants to eat you real bad. But the crystal, you've befriended the crystal.
Okay.
And
Let's see.
he doesn't seem to enjoy being a were-crocodile, especially not for as long as he seems to have been one.
Okay, so I got a 12.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say roll initiative. Give me initiative.
Okay.
He did very badly. He got a 3. But your 12 is close enough that I will give you this.
Okay.
He hesitates for a moment.
Okay.
And
Alright.
he hesitates for a moment. The crystal is swirling, and it says to you, Yes, I believe that extraction of the crystal should undo the physiological changes. It should echo out. The mental projection of the changes should reverse. Unfortunately, as I lack hands, not really something I can provide. Perhaps you can, though.
Okay. So he hesitates for a moment. I got a initiative was 19.
Yeah, you're definitely going first.
Okay. And I want to... what size is he?
He's large.
Okay, he's large. Okay, so we're still in the same size class. Okay, I'm going to cast guidance on myself.
Okay.
And then I'm going to... I don't know, is that a standard action?
I'll give you the time to cast guidance in the time that he's hesitating. I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah.
Okay, I cast guidance, And then I want to cast Hold Person
Okay.
again. So he has to make a saving throw. Will saving throw.
Not his strong suit, but he rolls a 19.
I don't know if it doesn't work. It completely doesn't work, or it just only works for a short amount of time. I don't think it works at all. Okay, so that didn't work. So, all right. I'm ready.
Okay. He's gonna come at you. He's going to. Actually, he rears back. He takes a step back. He rears back, and he belches at you.
Ugh.
And acid fills the air.
Oh no.
Make a reflex saving throw.
Okay. I got a 13.
Take 19 acid damage.
Oh man. Okay. Alright. Okay, so I am now... And I don't get any... Nope, I take that full hit, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so now I... Okay, so non-violent isn't working, obviously. So, I am going to... bite him.
Okay.
I'm going to try to bite him and try to get him in a grapple.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so... Oh my gosh. Okay, I got... Oh man. I got 14.
That exactly gets him.
Oh my gosh, okay. Okay. Okay, so do I need to make a roll to see if I grapple him? I think I do.
I'm actually going to say, this is going to be a very important roll. You grapple him. The two of you are kind of pinned. He's kind of chomping at you. You're kind of chomping back at him. You've got a chance to grab this crystal.
Okay.
You've got him. You can grab him. But if you don't, that might be it.
Okay. Okay. Alright, so what kind of roll am I making?
I'm gonna call
Dexterity or
dexterity or strength, whichever you're better at.
Okay, I'll do dex.
Okay.
Okay. So
You want to get that? You want to get that 14?
Oh my gosh. I got a 5.
All right. Well, he's still grappled, so he can.
Okay.
He's just going to try and take control of the grapple.
Okay.
Might. That's what your CMB. I don't remember how grappling works in Pathfinder. To look up grapple rules.
I think it is.
Making a combat maneuver check. Okay. DC equal to your opponent. What is your CMD?
Okay, my CMD is 15.
Okay, so he is broken free of the grapple. That's his action.
Okay.
He kind of shoves you off. He's gearing up. He's gearing up to belch again. You got to get that crystal.
Okay. So,
or at least find a way to stun him while you get the crystal.
in the wound is it a wound where the crystal is?
Yeah, it's kind of embedded in the back of his neck, like where the neck meets the shoulder. It's just kind of like jammed in there.
Okay. So, do you think that to take a standard action, and I'm basically on him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if I cast a cure moderate or cure serious, it might come out?
I would actually give you that. That's really no. That's really clever. I would absolutely cure serious. I would absolutely give it because this is like a serious wound.
Okay, I will use my last third level.
All right.
No, my second to last third level spell, and I will cast Cure Serious on him.
Okay.
To see if I can get it out while also holding or trying to wiggle it out.
Yeah, I think it goes exactly as that, right? Like, 'cause you're healing the wound and it kind of like spits it out, basically. It kind of spits it out and like it shatters and miasma fills the air, and like he kind of slumps forward a little bit and he's like, "Ow, hey, my head hurts," and he starts aging rapidly. He kind of starts painfully transforming back, but as he's doing that, aging 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. Like, he crumbles into dust.
Oh.
You're not sure. Like, he was clearly, these bandits clearly lost track of time. And had,
Oh.
but you're standing there, the crystal, the miasma briefly takes the shape of a man that you recognize briefly to be the boss. It seems to have taken his shape, like, in his prime a little bit. He kind of imparted on it as it imparted on him. And he kind of just says, Thank you. You freed me from a painful existence. Good looking out. And he gives you a two-finger salute.
And goodbye.
And he fades away, and you move back out through the dungeon, or through the cave, through the comet, I guess? And you come upon a weird sound from just outside of the cavern. Laughter. Hooting and hollering laughter from outside. You finally make it out, and there are 3 very old men laughing and slapping each other in the thigh.
And I assume very naked.
Well, they're wearing, like, tattered rags.
Okay.
And one of them, looks over to you and just kind of gives you a nod. And they all kind of, like, throw their arms around each other. And they walk off.
You're welcome, but where are you going?
And he kind of turns back briefly. Sorry, older than I thought. We got to, do some community service back in Shanksford. Kind of messed up a few farmhouses.
Very good.
You want to come with? I don't know. Probably a parade or something for you.
Yeah, I'll come with you.
All right. The 2 of them throw their arms around you, which is impressive because you're still very large. And you walk off back down the river. And we see the town in the horizon and the comet in the distance. And 3 tattered rag-wearing old men in a WEREODILE walking off into the sunset. And that's game.
Awesome.
Lani, thank you so much for coming on Party of One. That was super fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was so much fun, and yes, thank you.
So, real quick, before we wrap up, anything that you'd like to plug? Anything like that? Any good stuff?
Not really. I mean, I kind of just want to plug other people's podcasts.
Feel free. No, I am
kosher?
all about it, yeah.
I've been loving, oh my gosh, I love All My Fantasy Children.
Oh.
I
wish you had
All My
said,
Fantasy Children.
Before you had said other people's you meant mine, because I would have told you no. But continue.
Oh, sorry.
No, please continue. I'm being facetious.
I really do. I really do. I am not brown-nosing. I really do love it. I'm, like, waiting every time there's a new episode. It just really just makes me laugh, and you guys are just trying, like, to just do such a, like, a good thing, even with something that's so silly. And Also, I've been really enjoying the Amory Wars.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a podcast about Coheed and Cambria's lore.
Yes, I do know that. That's Molly's podcast. I do know that podcast.
Yes. And it is just, as they would say, mwah. It's
chef's
just
kiss.
It's great. It's just so ridiculous. And I've been wanting somebody to, like, go through that lore with me for so long because I really like Coheed and Cambria. Gosh, there's so many, but those are the ones that are coming to my mind right now. Of course, One Shot. And there's just so many. But also I'd like to plug, if anybody's in the Sacramento area and looking for a church, the Sacramento Covenant Reformed Church, in the Land Park area is great, and you can meet me, and maybe we can play a game, and yeah, it's a wonderful, warm, welcoming church, and I just wanted to plug that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a blast, and I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me.
Thanks, future me. And thanks again to Lani for coming onto the show. That was so much fun. I really love that game. Be sure to check out all of the podcasts that Lani talked about at the end of the episode, because they're all, frankly, really good podcasts. The Amory Score, which you can find at abnormalmapping.squarespace.com, is a podcast in which Molly, who you may remember from the Fate pay-per-view episode of Party of one of my best friends and one of my favorite people in the world, and her co-host Jackson go through the discography of Coheed and Cambria to figure out and answer the question, what the fuck is going on in the music of Coheed and Cambria? The answer to that question, if you don't know Coheed and Cambria, is so much more bonkers than you realize. And if you are familiar with Coheed and Cambria, it's probably still more bonkers. Please check out the Amory Score. It's really freaking good. And then, of course, there's All My Fantasy Children. All My Fantasy Children is a podcast in which my best friend, Aaron Catano Saez, and I, every single week, take a listener prompt submitted through Facebook, email, Twitter, etc., and spin them into a role-playing game character. It is a podcast about world building, about character creation, about telling meaningful stories in a fantasy context, and it's just a chance for me to hang out with my best friend for an hour a week and make something special. I treasure All My Fantasy Children. It is a really special show to me, and I think if you listen to it, you might just fall in love with it, and it might be really special to you too. You can find that at allmyfantasychildren.libsyn.com. You can also follow All My Fantasy Children on Twitter at AMFC_podcast. Then, while you're on Twitter, follow this show at Party of One Pod, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. If you really enjoy the show, consider giving us a nice iTunes review, a social media shout-out, or a word-of-mouth recommendation. All three of those things help new audiences find the show, which helps us do bigger, better, and cooler things. As I said at the top of the show, consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/partyofonepodcast. Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you'd like to come onto the show, if you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, or like me, you're just watching the new season of BoJack Horseman and you just need to unpack that because there's a lot going on, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And finally, of course, don't forget to check out our sponsor this week, Divided Pursuit, at kck.st/dividedpursuit. Well, that's it for me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical, defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on.